I wanted to dry brine this 3.5 pound chuck roast initially, but my plans had to change. So while I did put sea salt on it earlier today, it's only going to be for about 5 hours, which won't be enough time to do much. I've put on since then a very basic all-purpose seasoning rub of salt, pepper, and garlic. And we'll go from there as we try to make the chuck roast burnt ends. Okay, per the directions from Pit Barrel, we let those coals go for about 12 minutes. That's about 20 coals in the chimney. And when I pour them back into the coal basket in the pit barrel, it should be pretty much all full, which is probably way more coals than we need for this upcoming cook, because that might be about 6 hours of heat, if I've understood things correctly. But I'd rather be using too much than too few until I learn how it works. I've just inserted the rebars. I'm not going to film putting the meat on the hooks because I can't do that and film at the same time, but you'll see it in a moment. There we go. We'll put the lid on and start the cook. It'll be interesting to see what the temperature ends up being over time in the pit barrel cooker. Right now it's at about 275 degrees. That's pretty good. I believe that I filled it up properly. I've got 3 chunks of smoking wood. Not the wood I actually wanted to use. Cherry. That's going to be an interesting smoke for a chuck roast. But, oh well, the cook has been going for about a half an hour. And the temperature where my meter thermometer is at is risen actually quite a bit. It's floating around 325 degrees, which is easily 25 degrees, really more than I would have liked it to be. But, well, we'll just see how it turns out. I don't mind if it's necessarily a hot and fast cook, if it ends up being a tasty cook. So, as you can see, I have the bottom intake vent open not terribly far, certainly less than a quarter of the way, which is what I was given to understand is the right amount for elevations between sea level and 2,000 feet. We're at about 850 here. And if that's open an eighth of the way, I'd be surprised. So there'll be a learning curve. I don't know if it matters, but the ambient air temperature today is in the low 80s right now. Maybe that makes a difference. Well, it's actually been dropping. It's down at about 260. And it looks like there's plenty of coals in there. So maybe I need to open the vent back up from the single plus finger width to a little bit more. It's been cooking for about 2 hours. This is taking a lot longer than I expected it to. But then I probably haven't got the lower vent at the right setting. Actually, to look at it, it looks like it's in great shape, but the internal temperature, according to both probes that are in there, Suggested something at about 170 degrees. Well, damn. The meat fell off the meat hook. I don't know how long it was on the coals, but I noticed that my temperature suddenly soared up to over 440 degrees, and so that was a clue. Well, let's hope it can be saved. Next time, maybe 2 meat hooks. Well, as you can see, some of it got burnt after falling off of its meat hook, which I'll have to find tomorrow, somewhere down at the bottom of the pit barrel, I think. I've been spending the last few minutes cutting up the pieces. The internal temperature of a lot of it certainly well into the 180s, and sections are probably higher than that. It cuts very easily, so I don't think it's actually that far from being done. Of course, it's cooling off now. All right, well, we've poured in some barbecue sauce. Doesn't really look like enough, does it? I'm going to wrap it up, put it in the oven, and let it braise for a while. I let them braise in the barbecue sauce for about an hour in the oven. They look pretty. Let them rest for a few minutes, and we'll try one. All right. Let's give one a try. Squeezes well. This one has a little fat on it, but that's all right. And I know you can't see me tasting it unless I adjust the camera. Yes, I'd say this worked. Certainly the barbecue sauce is predominant in the flavor on the outside, but you can taste the beefiness of the chuck roast. I really notice the rub I used at all, but it's still not bad. Not bad at all.